Hello students, good morning. Today we are going to discuss a new chapter, that is surface chemistry. You might have gone through the preliminary section of this particular chapter where you would have found certain things written in your book. Like what after the completion of this chapter, or after studying this chapter, what would be the understanding level up to you? Something you should know. That you should know what is interfacial phenomena after this chapter. Then adsorption definition, adsorbents, adsorbents, mechanism of adsorption and factors controlling adsorption from gases and solutions on solids. So these are some of the preliminary part which we are going to discuss today. First of all, we should know what is surface chemistry or what is it all about. Surface chemistry is the chemistry of surfaces or changes taking place at the surfaces, as the name goes, and it is written in your book. The first lines, as you can go through this, it is written, it deals with the phenomena that occur at the surfaces of interfaces. Now you should understand what is an interface. Say, if there are two states of matter, solids and liquids, right? So these are two different states. These two different states are having adsorption process shown. How can this be shown? Say for example, if the solid is adsorbing a liquid, it will be written as this. So solid liquid interfacial interaction. It can also be written like this, solid slash liquid, right? So surface chemistry, the first one which we are going to discuss is the process of adsorption. What is adsorption? You must have gone through a particular term, absorption, where you have seen that something when dissolved in something, say for example a glass of water taken and you can put some sugar molecules or salt molecules in it, you will be mixing it, and that will be called as absorption when all the salt molecules or sweet say salt molecules or sugar molecules are completely dissolved, then it is said to be as absorption. Now what is adsorption then? Adsorption is the process of accumulation of the substances, one kind of substance onto the other kind of substance. Say for example, some substances are accumulated on a particular surface like this. So this accumulation is not going into the bulk. So we should know two mediums are there. One is bulk medium, the medium which is plenty, and one which is the smaller material or smaller in quantity, which are going to be accumulated on the surface of the bulk phase. When they are accumulated here, they are said to be as adsorbate. And this bulk material, where the molecules are accumulated on the surface, they are said to be as adsorbent, right? And the process, the complete process, when all the molecules are accumulated on this surface, is said to be as adsorption, as we said earlier. So normally there is adsorption between solid liquid, between liquid gas, but in gas and gas adsorption is not seen because these molecules are freely moving. They can enter into the bulk completely. So what kind of phenomena taking place here? This surface phenomena is actually the change taking place at the surface or at the interface. Say if this is liquid and this is solid, or if this is solid and this is gas, then solid is the bulk, right? And the gaseous particles are said to be as the particles which are not equal to that of the solid, but they are being accumulated on the surfaces, and these are gaseous particles, right? Now what kind of material is there which is said to be as adsorbent, and what kind of material that are said to be as adsorbent should be known to us. Solid particles or liquid particles are mostly said to be as adsorbent because they have the capability to accumulate certain substances on its surfaces. And one best example is charcoal. Right? Charcoal is a very good adsorbent because it is porous and it applies or it provides larger surface area. So larger surface area is one good reason for being an adsorbent. Now you have seen that these particular terms which we have just gone through, like adsorption, adsorbent and adsorbent, they are valuable in certain parts of our life, say in industry, in analytical chemistry, and there are so many like applications in the daily life situation. You can go through and find this out. Now what are good adsorbent? What are good adsorbent? Those substances which do not enter or pierce into the bulk medium, they rather accumulate on the surfaces, are said to be as good adsorbent. And those substances which can provide surface to the adsorbent to be accumulated on the surfaces are said to be as good adsorbent. As we have seen, charcoal is a good adsorbent. Now, other good adsorbents are silica gel. They can easily absorb moisture in the air. So, in a rainy season, when the moisture is to be removed, silica gel can be used because the moisture can be accumulated on the surface of the silica gel and the moisture is removed. So this is very much in use. Now you see one line is written which is very important in your book is that to accomplish surface studies meticulously, it becomes imperative to have a really clean surface. This is one important phenomenon which we should know, that for good absorption a clean surface is required. The surface should be clean. And how this can be obtained? This can be obtained by providing vacuums. You know, in air, dioxygen, dinitrogen are in plenty, and if the surface is kept open in the air, the molecules are likely to be intermixing or to be accumulated on the surfaces, and then the surface phenomena will not be the proper one, it will be improper. So we should know what is adsorption again. Adsorption can be defined as the accumulation of molecular surface. You can write it, you can make note of this, accumulation of molecular species at the surface rather than in the bulk of solid or liquid is said to be as adsorption. Now, adsorption and absorption. We should know the difference between this. When the substances are entering into the bulk, say for example, instead of accumulating on the surface, they are entering into the bulk and mixing with there, then the process is said to be as absorption. And when they are only accumulating on the surface, then they are said to be as adsorption. You see, gases like oxygen, hydrogen, carbon monoxide, chlorine, ammonia, NH3, sulfur dioxide, they are taken in a closed vessel containing say powdered charcoal. And you see what happens when these substances, these gases are taken into a closed vessel having charcoal, the pressure of the gases will be decreasing gradually because the gaseous particles are accumulating on the surface, that is charcoal. But one thing should be taken into account, that the vessel should be closed, it should not be open. Had it been open, the atmospheric oxygen and nitrogen would likely to be accumulated on the surfaces. Another example is there, you might have seen raw sugar is brownish in color. Now that raw sugar is purified by the process of adsorption. When they are treated with animal charcoal, the brown color of the sugar is absorbed by the animal charcoal and it becomes whiter or colorless. So there are other examples also. The air can be converted dry, as I have just said, by using silica gel, because water molecules can easily be adsorbed. Now we have seen distinction between adsorption and absorption, and then now mechanism. Here we will talk about the mechanism of adsorption. How is adsorption taking place? What happens actually during adsorption process? But before that, we should know that adsorption can be differentiated into two groups. Adsorption as physisorption and chemisorption. Right? Before knowing this, we should know the mechanism. Mechanism, we have seen what happens. The particles which are said to be as adsorbate are accumulating on the surface of adsorbate. Now when they are simply lying on the surface of the adsorbate, the process is said to be as physisorption. Like if this is charcoal, this is providing surface area, or if it is a metal surface, porous metal surface, now it is providing surface area. This is solid particles. Some liquid or gaseous particles can be accumulating over this simply and lying on the surface. Then this process will be said to be as physisorption. And they are likely to be removed as well, like if gaseous particles are there. If say pressure is applied here, they can easily be leaving the surface. The process is said to be as physisorption. The simple van der Waals forces, attraction of van der Waals forces is making the solids and gaseous particles to be together. And this phenomenon is taking place at the surface or at the interface. In case of chemisorption, the same phenomena goes on, that is accumulation takes place. But the difference here is a chemical bond is formed between the two, and it's not easy to remove these accumulated particles or adsorbate particles from this surface. So there is a big difference between physisorption and chemisorption. Chemisorption is a chemical process. Now this is not accumulating or on the surface area easily, rather simply, or you can say they are binding themselves with adsorbent. While here they are simply lying over the surface. Then this is physisorption and this one is chemisorption. There are so many examples in our day-to-day life where physisorption and chemisorption is taken into account, and then we will see what kind of differences are there between physisorption and chemisorption. Characteristics are given. Physisorption, what are the characteristics? You see, 2-3 characteristics are there. You should be knowing this. The first one is lack of specificity. There is no specific adsorbate and adsorbent. Anything, any adsorbent can be accumulating on adsorbent. So there is no specificity, right? And they are simply binding themselves with van der Waals forces. The second one, nature of adsorbent. You see, the second one is written in your book. The amount of gas absorbed by a solid depends on the nature of gas. In general, easily liquefiable gases. There are certain gases which are easily liquefied, right? They are readily adsorbed compared to those which are not easily liquefied. Because you know, the gases have a capability to have kineticity. They move randomly, Brownians move. Those who are liquefied, they can be easily accumulated. So the nature of adsorbate also plays an important role. And the third one is physisorption is reversible in nature. If this adsorbate is accumulating on adsorbent, they can easily be removed also with a simple physical process, because this is attacking itself by simple van der Waals forces. Like we can say, you see solid with liquid or gas, we can say, right? Now this is one adsorption. Now you can see here the second one written in your book. This can again be converted like this: gas upon solid if you supply simple heat. Means if it is heated, if heat is supplied here, the gas is likely to be removed, right? And the process, because it is a reversible process, this takes place in physisorption. While in case of chemisorption, there is specificity. Specificity means some definite adsorbent should be there for some definite kind of adsorbent. Then this process is irreversible because the two surfaces are binding themselves with chemical bonds. Here they are binding themselves with chemical bonds. There is no simple van der Waals force, and this is one important reason why it is not leaving easily. So it is irreversible while this one is reversible. And third case, you see chemisorption. In chemisorption, enthalpy of adsorption should be there. Enthalpy of chemisorption is high, while enthalpy of physisorption is low. So this differences should be known. There are say comparison of physisorption and chemisorption in your book. You can go through this. 9 points are given. I am reading out for that. The physisorption arises because of van der Waals forces, chemisorption because of chemical bond, right? Physisorption non-specific in nature, while chemisorption is highly specific in nature. Physisorption, it is reversible in nature. This one is irreversible in nature, right? Here it depends on the nature of the gas. I said it earlier, liquefiable gases can easily be adsorbed, but non-liquefiable gases will not be absorbed easily. Here enthalpy of adsorption, you can say, or it depends on the nature of the gas. The gas which react with adsorbent show chemisorption. They undergo reaction. They are forming bonds between them. Then enthalpy of adsorption is low. Here we should know it is 20 to 40 kg calorie, 20 to 40 kilojoule per mole in case of physisorption. Here it is very high. In case of chemisorption, it is 80 to 240 kilojoule per mole. Mole inverse. So chemisorption is different from physisorption in this way also, right? Low temperature is favorable because here you can see here it is simple layering over. So this one requires little temperature, low temperature. This will be requiring high temperature because bonding is being formed, right? It depends on the surface of the area. Here in case of physisorption, while it also depends on the surface area, but it is increasing with increasing surface area. If you are increasing surface area, more of the bond is to be formed. Now the next one is adsorption isotherm, and this is important from the point of view of examination. Now, we normally get questions in the examination how the physisorption are different than the chemisorption, or what is the enthalpy of say physisorption and chemisorption, or which one will be reversible or irreversible in nature. Now we'll talk about adsorption isotherm today, right? Now what is adsorption isotherm? Adsorption isotherm. You know the meaning of isotherm? Iso same, therm temperature. So same temperature. You see one thing, it is written in your book, the variation of the amount of gas absorbed by the adsorbent with pressure at constant temperature can be expressed by means of a curve termed as adsorption isotherm. Now we are talking about a curve, right? You see, temperature is constant, adsorbent and adsorbent. Say for example, this is adsorbent, this one is adsorbent, right? This can be taken as vice versa, oppositely can be taken, this adsorbent and adsorbent. Now at fixed temperature, constant temperature with variable pressure, the process of this adsorption varies. This process varies. Now this relationship was given by Freundlich's adsorption isotherm. Freundlich was a chemist. In the year 1909, he gave an empirical relationship. The relationship can be written as x upon m equal to kb 1 upon n and is greater than 1. Now this is the equation. Now what does it specify? Right? You see here, kb. Freundlich said that the quantity of gas adsorbed by unit mass of solid adsorbent and a pressure at a particular temperature, the relationship can be depicted in this. X is the mass of the gas adsorbed, M is the mass of the adsorbent. This is adsorbent, this is adsorbent, right? At pressure P, K is constant and N are the nature of adsorbent. So relationship is generally represented in the form of a curve where mass of the gas adsorbed per gram of the adsorbent is plotted against pressure. This curves can be indicated like this, as I have shown you the curve. Like this, you can see the curve is x upon m. You have learned this. What is x and m? The mass of adsorbent and the amount of adsorbent. You can see now here x upon a against pressure P. This kind of curves can be seen. Now this curves at 273 Kelvin, at 244 Kelvin, at 195 Kelvin, etc. You can see here a change can be observed, right? Now this can be taken as x upon m equal to kp 1 upon n is greater than 1. So if you take the logarithm, if you are taking, you will be able to find out the relationship. So this is how the Freundlich's adsorption can be shown. So this much for today. You go through this and thank you.